Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. You are listening to Al Mubarak Radio with myself, Mr. Al Mubarak, on the afternoon of the 7th of October 2016. The time just approaching 3:15 p.m. and inshallah we're live on Al Mubarak Radio, alhamdulillah, on the beautiful day and afternoon of Jummah, and also the beautiful month of Muharram as well, the month of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also, brothers and sisters, a very blessed day, a blessed month indeed. And I'm sure in the coming week, the day of Ashura, we've been talking about it on our morning live shows and also on the evening shows as well. We had a lovely Dhorat night last night as well. And I'd like to say a big jazakumullah khair to everybody who participated. We had lots of messages, and alhamdulillah, the Madni Girls School as well, mashallah, having lots of views on Facebook as well. Today, alhamdulillah, we have a guest in the studio as well, and today we're going to be talking politics for the next half an hour. And Waqas Ali Khan, who is now going to be standing for independent party, okay, and he's going to be running for the seat, okay, in the Batley Spen area, inshallah, is with us today. So firstly, let's welcome Waqas Ali Khan onto Al Mubarak Radio on this beautiful day of Jummah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Thank you very much, Mr. Al Mubarak, for granting me this opportunity to be on your channel. I am standing as a parliamentarian for Batley and Spen By-Election. I'm standing as an independent candidate, not with an independent party. Just a bit of correction and clarification for the viewers. I am a member of UK Independence Party, but I'm currently in this Batley and Spen By-Election. I'm standing as an independent. So that's just for the clarification.
Okay, so you're independent, meaning there is no party.
I am 100% independent, not associated with any party during this election. I have no support from UK Independence Party from a political party point of view. I'm independent. I'm, just like the Conservatives, the UKIP, the Greens, the Lib Dems, they all decided not to contest the seat out of respect for Joe Cox's murder and a tragic incident that took place. My condolences to the family, the friends, the colleagues of Joe Cox, and unfortunately this by-election is taking place, and I believe the voters deserve a fair choice in who they are allowed to vote for.
MashaAllah, and that is very nice to know, Mr. Waqas Ali Khan. I'm sure people need to know the name. So, I'm sure there will be a lot of, I've just seen today a big poster regarding your campaign. So I'm sure it's going through all the letter boxes as well in Batley Spen areas.
Yes, my leaflets are currently on its process of being printed. They are being designed by B7 printers, which is you may know him. It's a close-knit community. Akuji Badat, who stood as an independent candidate in 2014, his son is designing my leaflets. I am good friends with his daughter, Amina Badat. So it's just about, I studied at University of Bradford with Amina Badat and many other people from Batley, Spen, Dewsbury, Heckman White that take Bradford University and manage to study there.
Right, okay, subhanAllah. Look, we've got a brother who's from Bolton. His name is Billah. Okay, he runs Islamic posters. Okay, he's in Pakistan doing a lot of charity work at the moment. Well, he's viewing right now and he's saying, Salams, bro, from Pakistan. So, walaikum salam, brother Billah. We need you back here. I need a lot of posters doing. I've just come back from West Bengal. We did a lot of Qurbani there. And, I'm quite behind. I need posters, so we need you back here quickly. Anyway, today's guest, Mr. Waqas Ali Khan, who's standing independent. Okay, the voting is on October the 20th. October the 20th. Now, I am sure, look, it's time right now when people are getting to know who they're going to be voting for. And, this is your time. We have Mr. Waqas Ali Khan here in the studio. The telephone number is 01924 472-776. I repeat, 01924 472-776. So if anybody is wanting to ask any questions also, then directly, you can call in and inshallah ask questions directly. But firstly, Mr. Waqas, I want to ask you a little bit about yourself firstly, okay? Your background, where you've come from, okay? You've said, okay, you've been to, university with Mr. Akuji Barat's daughter, etc. But a little bit about yourself.
About myself.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Bradford, which is just situated next door to Batley and Spen. I studied, Bingley Grammar School, went over to Bradford College, did my BTEC National Diploma in Business and Marketing. I completed the course at college and I attended University of Bradford because I believe staying local and achieving qualifications local, if it's available, is very important. And it keeps you in touch with your family, friends, your loved ones. And I completed a accounting and finance degree, attaining a 2-1. I completed a master's in finance in 2012-2013, and currently I'm studying to become a secondary school maths teacher because there's shortages in teachers, and I've always been passionate about being involved in community work. I've done youth work during my university career. I was a volunteer in Bradford Youth Service. So I've always been engaged with the community and helping young people grow, being a positive role model, and just giving them opportunity of what is available out there, telling them, directing them, and allowing them to make their own decisions of what they want to become and what they want to achieve with life.
So that's a little bit about, mashallah, Mr. Waqas Ali Khan, who is standing independent. Remember, October 20th is the date when everybody needs to go out and vote. Okay, I'm not saying who you have to vote for. I mean, Mr. Waqas Ali Khan is here, and this is the reason, the Batley Spen area especially need to ask and need to know, Mr. Waqas Ali Khan or whoever they're going to be voting for. And at this time, look, we've got another message. Look, even New York is watching us right now. Alhamdulillah, we've got viewers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh from New York. Jazakumullah khair for tuning in. All the best. Have a beautiful day of Jummah. I'm sure it's early morning in New York right now. So a big Jazakumullah khair for tuning in. Please download the Mubarak Radio app as well on your mobile phones. Okay, App Store, Google Play. It's free. Just search Mubarak Radio and get it on your phones. What I want to ask you is why? Okay, you're from Bradford. Why Batley and Spen? I mean, come on. There's a whole Bradford there. There's so many areas in Bradford. Why Batley and Spen?
Unfortunately, the murder of Joe Cox, had this by-election, taking place in the first place. So. With that happening, we had an individual from Liberty GB Party called Jack Buckby, and his motives is everything against anti-Islam policies. I understood that he would be pledging towards a UKIP /conservative /BNP type of voting that he would be trying to attract, because he was trying to take advantage of an opportunity. Because all the major parties said they're not going to contest it, and Jack Buckby is the primary motive of me standing initially, because he's anti-Islam, and I believe he's there to divide the community, not unite it. And Batley and Spen, Dewsbury, we're close-knit communities. We want to bring each other together. And be part of the same platform, to be honest. You're working together to improve community life, to better society, and to integrate amongst other communities together.
So basically your aim is to work, okay, with a close-knit community. Okay, bring, obviously a community is close together anyway.
I'll give you an example. My father in the 1980s, 90s used to work in the mills over Dewsbury, Batley. We've got a lot of friendship, family friendship from Heckmanwijk. A lot of people from my village, are residents within Heckmanwijk, the Kashmiri community. A lot of people know my family as well personally. They're from the same village. So I just want to give a voice and an opportunity for the people of Batley and Spen to have more than one or two people on the ballot paper as well. I don't believe that Tracy Barbin, who's Labour candidate, should have been parachuted in. She had no interest within politics. Last I remember in 2002 she stood for Springfield in Hackney as a councillor and she lost. I want to know who that Tracy Barbin is. At this very moment I've not heard much about herself. It's always about Joe Cox's legacy. It's always about I'm going to make her proud. We want to know, we want to convince the people of Batley and Spen why people should vote a certain individual, not just be parachuted. It was already cherry-picked by Labour, and I believe there was many candidates that should have been considered within the Labour Party, or even general within the area that should have stood up and voiced their opinions against extreme far-right group standing and should have put themselves forward. And it's a shame, Mr. Mubarak, that today we are 2016, we could fill town halls up, with Syria protests. We could fill, we talk for hours on Facebook, Twitter. We sort of criticize the world, but when there's an opportunity to stand for your own community, to represent it the way you would like to represent it, I think there's only Gary from Green Party that's the only resident that within Batley and Spen. Everyone else is from out of the region. And if me standing inspires other people within Batley and Spen for future elections, win or lose, draw, I'd like to inspire many people to stand up and take control of your own communities. It's your community and you want to run it the way you want to run it. And no one else from outside should dictate. You don't have to be, from Oxford, Cambridge, or any big universities to feel confident to stand. Just you learn on the job once you become it. Stand up and take control of your own communities, because it's your community and only you will have the best interest with that.
Yeah, that's very well answered. So let's move on as well. October 20th will decide who will obviously get the seat at Batley and Spen. So what will you bring, into Batley and Spen?
Well, with politics in general, there is so much things that are wrong. There was an announcement that David Miliband potentially may be standing for and contesting the seat. All 175 MPs wanted him in. Maybe it's for leadership, maybe he isn't, but they wanted a certain character in. George Galway, on the other hand, had announced that if David Miliband was to go in, that he would take control. And I was asking myself, why would George Galway feel so interested? And I realized that, high flyers, elite politicians, George Galway is an elite politician. He's been in politics for the last 40 years. I think an individual like himself knows how to pull the strings of the Asian community, because in Bradford West he had won by a landslide victory in 2013.
Yeah.
And I feel as if he's taken advantage of international causes to take position and use it for his own political motives. And with David Miliband, he also did, he's not created divide the way George Galway seems to create it, but he's voted wrong in Parliament. So within Parliament, I want to create an online platform, if I become elected, where every resident on the voters register would be able to sign up onto the website. They would be able to vote according to how I would vote in Parliament, and I would, whilst I'm standing voting for certain issues, I would voice my constituents' concerns, the way they would like me as an MP to vote, not just play guessing game and vote according to my will or some elite politician or some advisor telling you. It's about voting according to your constituents, representing them to the best of your ability. And I'm quite surprised with it throughout the whole of UK, no one's used technology to their advantage. So I want to be creating an online platform so residents could vote prior, so they would have the same information I would have to vote. You could independently look as communities decide, the mosques, the madrasas, the community centres, the church, the synagogues, they could all sit down and decide, what course of action in what particular vote, the MP should be voting on. And I would always consider my residents' opinions over my own. And similar to that, the MPs throughout the whole country, they seem to be the last cause that anyone approaches them. Many people feel as if that they would ask all their relatives, all their neighbours for help before they approach the MP. So I would like to have a 24/7 assistance available out of hours for the residents of Batley and Spen. Reason for this is emergency shelter. There's people that are getting evicted from homes at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and they need places to stay. People have a sense of pride, a sense of honour, friendship. They don't feel like sinking low, asking them for a bit of money or a room in the home or anything. So as a Batley and Spen MP, I will personally have a 24-hour assistance line. I will have 2 or 3 people working during the night shift to accommodate these people, food, shelter. Remember, it's not just adults, it's children that are involved as well. So we need to keep them safe overnight in a warm place, have teas, coffees and everything up. And hopefully if I am elected, I will have that. That's 2 of my points. I've got another point which sort of skims off the emergency shelter, because people are going to say, well, all this is going to cost, where is it going to come from, which is the natural question what people would want to ask for. So I want to create a Batley and Spen charity where 10% of my salary will go into that charity, right? And I want to bring people from all communities together, so whether you're Pakistani, Gujarati, Indian, whether you're Kashmiri, whether you're British white, whatever walks of life that you're from, I want the Batley and Spen charity to be in control of the people. It would be a gift for the people to, even if in 2020 I'm not elected again, it would be a gift towards the people of Batley and Spen, that I would set up an institution, a charity that is benefiting the people. I will not take no salary. The people, I would get community leaders like yourself or anyone else, the mosque committees, to also participate on the panel, so we could engage with each other. And it's a form of dawah, it's a form of keeping communities together, and it's just about, in Ramadan, look how much money we collect.
True.
I was just reading an article on the news that 16 million people in UK have less than £100 savings. And imagine for funeral care or anything else, some people, they cannot even afford funeral care. So, that charity would go to the needy within the community, and it's about helping each other. We don't want to throw people into food banks. We don't want to leave people homeless on the street. We don't, it's about bringing communities together. There are 2 other points as well that I'd like to do is more general within the region. So I will, if I am elected MP, I will fight for getting as much funding as I could from central government and bringing it for infrastructure, to better society as a whole, to keep the libraries, the facilities running in Batley and Spen and even the wider area, Kirklees in general. And vacant properties, there's a lot of properties in Batley town that are just empty.
True.
So we need to be a bit more lenient when it comes towards a planning permission, and business rates need to get slashed, because people can't afford paying 6, 7, 8, up to about £3,000 days in business rates. People cannot afford that when they're starting up. So we need to have these certain precautions taken, safeguards and precautions taken into consideration before we give properties out. And I think I should be putting a bit of relief on the business rates as well as easing planning permission, so people could actually open up businesses and engage with people.
I mean, that's a very, very, extended answer onto what I asked to what you're going to be bringing. And, mashallah, you've answered that quite well. We've got also West Bengal as well, mashallah, listening. Assalamu alaikum, bhai. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Everybody out there in West Bengal, I'm missing you guys. I was in West Bengal about 2-3 weeks ago. We did a lot of qurbanis there, so they tuned in as well, made a lot of friends there. So missing you guys, and I hope to see you again, all of you guys, very, very soon, inshallah. We have here, you're listening to Mubarak Radio on the day of Jummah. Time just leaving 3:35 p.m. on the 7th of October 2016. This is the Jummah Show, and we have brother Waqas Ali Khan, who is independent and standing, inshallah, on the 20th of October, which is what? Less than 2 weeks now, isn't it? Less than 2 weeks now. And I'm sure all the ballot papers will be, mashallah, posted into the homes. But the main thing is that people need to go out and vote. We can all have an opinion, we can all have a say, we can all have, text, like a brother mentioned earlier, social media, we tweet and we put arguments on Facebook, etc., regarding this, that, and the other. But it all comes down to, the voting day, where we've got to make that little bit of effort. And I'm sure, there's polling stations very close to everybody's houses, because I'm sure there's not only one in Batley Spen area. I know there's
there's over 50, 60
polling stations, yeah. And inshallah, on that day, we're going to be very active as well, because we'll be following all the polling stations. That's what we normally do. So inshallah, hope we catch up in one of the polling stations. Right, I want to ask you something as well. That, this, just it's obviously just out of my head right now, that, the people of Batley, has anybody really approached you as yet? Have you come in front of everybody, if somebody's asked you anything regarding, why you're standing, what's, just what we're talking about?
The only criticism I have just come from Jummah, and I spoke to a few local residents, and the issue that they have had is, why UKIP? Why did you join UKIP? And the primary motive of joining UKIP was to leave the EU, is to gain border controls. It's not what Labour members try to make it out. They try to portray as immigrants hating on immigrants for the people that vote out in the European referendum. And I don't agree with that theory. That's like saying, out of 17 million people, they're all racist, they're all hating. I think that's the wrong approach. Many Pakistani people in Bradford, 20,000 plus, voted to leave. There are reasons, because when Romania joined, there was 100,000 flows. They came into Batley, Dewsbury, they come into these areas. They can't afford housing in Spen Valley. They can't afford housing in Baildon area, all, countryside areas. They're too expensive. Farmhouses, they're too expensive for them to reside. They come into the, city centres, it's overpopulated. And, I'm a secondary school maths teacher, training to become one. And I've seen classrooms extended beyond the capacity of holding people. You might have the same issues within madrasas, within Batley and Spen. We need some sort of control to measure and give effective teaching methods towards people. It's hard to keep young people under control. When you've got tables for 25 or 30 people, how could you squeeze 60, 70 tables in one room? It just doesn't sound right. The way people are coming in to Batley and Spen and Bradford and other areas throughout the UK, we need some sort of control. That is the primary reason why that is the primary reason. Well, there's hospital queues, there's doctors, waiting time lists have gone up. Opticians are struggling. People are struggling to get opticians appointments. There needs to be some sort of control. If Ukraine tomorrow was to join EU and we were still part of it, there'd be 100,000 guaranteed people that UK would have to take in. Where would they come? It just doesn't make sense. What is the housing, then the rental for ordinary people like myself and yourself, Mr. Al-Mubarak, would go higher, because people that are renting properties are in touch with their money. That's it's a profiting business. People take advantage. And saying that, there's 2 million Britons living in Europe, and I think the only sensible thing to do at this precise moment and in this time is give permanent right to remain status for the Europeans residing in UK and the UK nationals residing in Europe. They should have permanent right to remain status, so people, so hate crime don't go higher. So when people are travelling into Europe, they're not getting picked on for kicking, all their country nationals out of the country. It's about doing the right thing. They didn't come illegally into the country. It was a legal system. This referendum should have happened 20 odd years ago, and the politicians should have been more honest with the people as in what the European Union is all about, because many of us didn't figure it out. It's only until the last 7 or 8 years that we sort of realised there's 100,000 people that could come into UK when Eastern European countries, Bulgaria, Romania joined. It's only then when I started getting the sense of what is actually going on. So it's about being fair now. It's about giving permanent right to remain status. It shows that the government needs to do work and build more schools, hospitals, build more roads so people are not congested as well. I'd like to propose.
Right. So, mashallah, being a young man, okay, you're very, very young, mashallah. I'm sure you're very waiting and eager to go. But, what experience, okay, within politics do you also have?
Well, in 2015 general election, I stood against Philip Davis in the Shipley Constituency. And I enjoyed my campaign. I went to school. I went to Bingley Grammar School, which is situated within that constituency. I've had experience with politics. I've got cross-party friendship in Conservative, Labour alike. I've got family members that are associated with Labour Party and Conservative, both of them. And I've got good friendship with them. So when I see other people standing from different parties, I don't criticise anyone, because each one of them has his own view of how he wants to benefit the people. With the points that I've mentioned, I've thought about what I want to do in politics. This is unique to me, and I don't think that there would be many of the other politicians that would break it down the way I wanted to do with the charities and the way I want to have 24/7 assistance, MP assistance available for people. As I was saying before, with UKIP, is the only criticism that I have is why UKIP are affiliated or sort of BNP. I think it's a misconception what's happened. UKIP in the rule books, I wouldn't have joined UKIP if we didn't have this one policy, but it's misconceptions that have happened and misinformation being led by different parties. In the rule books, it states that Britain First, BNP, any far-right extreme groups, right, are not welcome to join UK Independence Party. I don't know about the past in 92, 20 odd years ago. I was in my nappies those days when it started off, so I can't talk from how it started off. But what I could do is in 2015, 2014, when I joined the party, the rule books clearly stated that no UKIP member could no public member could join UKIP if they have been affiliated with the BNP and any NF and any of the far-right extreme movement. And within their policies, they've got absolutely nothing about going to wars in countries. They're like, that's a waste of money. They've got nothing said about anti-Islam policies. There might be certain individuals that come out with their own policy because they got a political platform and come out with it, but it's not within the party manifesto, it's not within the rule book. And within other parties, with the Conservative and Labour, you also have had people coming out with, banning faith schools, and there's certain issues that are happening. So it's not just UKIP, it's a cross-party, individual people, individual politicians that have got a platform that are coming out with their own opinions. And if people of Batley and Spen elect me, I could assure you that I will voice my opinions to my residents to the best of my ability. I'm bringing politics to the fingertips, not just at your doorstep. With the online platform, we will bring politics to your fingertips.
Right, and also I'm sure growing up, young man, again, you have a role model. I mean, somebody has to inspire you to also get to where you want. Who would you say is your role model?
Well, my role model, I'd say there's a few. Starting with Muhammad Ali, someone from my era would look up to someone like Muhammad Ali. He was well spoken, he carried himself well with the media, and he always got his point across. That is one of my role models in general. He didn't need politics for putting out a political message. He was out there, he spoke from his heart, and he spoke to what he felt majority of the people was thinking. But many people was thinking it, but they never spoke it. So he is definitely my role model whilst I'm growing up.
Definitely, and I'm sure he did inspire a lot of people, especially in our generation. And I'm sure he's going to be a person who's going to be remembered into obviously future generations as well. May Allah grant him Jannah on this beautiful day of Jummah. We can only make dua. Right. Also, moving on, future plans. What's your future plans for Batley and Spen? You get the seat on October the 20th. Okay, it's going to go down on October 20th. Everybody make sure you get out and vote. Okay, I'm not saying who to vote for, but I'm saying you need to go out and make a vote. Okay, whichever party you see the name. And also, there has to be a plan placed when you set in. Okay, so I'm sure you've already thought about this. You can explain briefly for your future plans.
Well, the first thing I would do if I get elected is have my office based within Batley and Spen. Right, I would open up, vacancies for local people within Batley and Spen that are politically engaged or community engaged to take up and take, I would give a certain priority to people that are all engaged within communities but have not got the political platform to do work on a national level. So I'd like to encourage and get people involved into that. Also, I would get the online platform set up ASAP and the Batley and Spen charity within the first 2 or 3 weeks. That would, these three things are promises that I'm making that I could deliver on. A 24-hour assistance that I could deliver on. I will not fail with those promises that I've made.
I mean, you've mentioned that now, I think, a few times, especially the online one at the fingertips. Okay, so I mean, I'm sure that's like you say, you'll deliver that on a couple of weeks into.
I'd have the whole platform, the website, the portal, everything available for people to sign up within, let's just say, 3 or 4 weeks of me becoming it. So by the time people are still getting warmed up in Parliament, things are already rolling. I've got already people ready to do that, and if I don't become it, I hope someone else does take these options, because we need to change politics throughout the whole country. We don't want to go into any other unnecessary wars. We don't want to be, misrepresenting our own constituents. And I only feel as if when you get them engaged in the process, you could give them the best representation.
Right, and also everybody has to have a strategy. I'm sure a campaign strategy. You're working from up till October the 20th. How are you going about the campaign?
I believe with this election, people should look beyond parties. I don't think that people should consider the normal people that used to vote Labour Party should automatically vote Labour Party. I don't think it's fair because none of the other major parties are standing. I think we should, in this election, look for an individual that they seem appropriate to deliver, that has a clear, concise view of what they want to achieve within the region. And in 2020, we should focus more on the political landscape as a whole. Within the election, we should consider the individual standing. What his background or her background are, what they want to achieve and how they want to achieve it. Is it realistic? Or are they going to just put cotton wool over your eyes and become elected, sit down in parliament, vote according to how they want to vote? You know, you'll be continuously protesting. You know, they always talk about, you know, there was a big hoo-ha about UKIP privatising the NHS, and when I confronted UKIP, you know, party members and you know, the chairman, they go, no, we have no intention. But I was looking into it. It costs about £90 to change a light bulb in a hospital. They've privatised, they subletted these, you know, the maintenance part of the hospitals to private companies. The Labour government had introduced this and they had given these private contracts out. Right, so we should look beyond parties. We should understand what's going on. It costs like £90 just to change it. What about the plug sockets if it doesn't work? What about the TV maintenance? What about the light? You know, there's so much expense that are going. So when they say we're going to put more money into the NHS, in reality, what you're doing is paying more for them to improve the lighting, and it's basically a rip-off service. You know, if a light bulb's gone out, they should have had a person trained up within the hospital that, you know, that could do the work, an engineer or someone on premises, not subletting it out to a different company. So when they say we're going to put X amount of money into the NHS, it's only, you know, at the hospital beds, nothing's going to change. It's just going to change the sorry, let me I'm misquoting myself. Nothing's going to change at the bed sits of the hospitals. It's only going to change well, it's only going to inject money to keep the private companies benefiting.
Right, okay, subhanallah. Anybody got any questions, then please feel free to ask Mr. Waqas Ali Khan on 01924 472 776. That's 01924 472 776. Everybody's got to make a decision. There is a seat going on October 20th. I think there's about 4 people standing.
No, there's a total of 10 people standing.
10 people
right?
standing.
Many of them are from the far right extreme groups. You've got the BNP, you've got the NF, you've got Liberty GB, you've got English Democrats, you've got a few independents that I don't know much about. You've got Gary, who was part of the Green Party, who's resigned. Well, I think he's still a member, but he's going to totally leave because he believes in democracy. And I believe many people in Batley and Spen believe that there should have been, all parties should have contested it. It's been 3 months since Joe Cox had suddenly been murdered. That's a long period, but I think the next few years are very important with Brexit, negotiating deals, and if you know, it's these few years that make a big difference with international relations. Do
you know how many people are in the Batley Spen voting?
There's 78,373 voters.
78,300
78,373 voters.
Right, so I mean, this is a figure to me, but it's nice to know you know the figure. 78,373 people.
And I personally urge the Conservatives, the UKIP, you know, be sensible. Vote a party that could actually, vote an individual with association with the party that could actually make a difference. I'd also urge the Labour people, consider, you've always voted the norm, and the norm has never changed, right? It's not changed the political landscape, it's not changed you know, how you want to be represented on the political platform. This is your choice, it's your day, it's your vote. Vote accordingly, but do take me into consideration as a contendant, and hopefully the best one.
Inshallah. Right. We're running out of time as well. So if anything that yourself would like to add before we go on the break, please, inshallah, before you sign out.
I just like to say to the people of Batley and Spen, it's a very sensitive election. The police is on high alert. So please remain calm. On social media, don't troll, don't give any threatening messages, don't do anything. It's not worth getting arrested over. These people are not from Batley and Spen. They don't have your interest. They're there to provoke a reaction out of you. They're there to cause the division, cause the divide. For them, it's a bit of fun, a bit of going back to the area saying, look, we've accomplished something by creating divide. The last time that in Bradford we had the National Front coming over to do a march, there ended up being a riot where many Asian community members ended up in prison, and we don't want to see a repeat. So from an individual, from not even a contestant, just as in general advice, just stay away from all of the woo-ha. They're going to want a reaction out of you. Don't give them what they want. Your vote is at the ballot box. They'll disappear afterwards. So just stay safe. Pass the message on to your family. Don't fall for the trap. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much, Mr. Waqas Ali Khan, for coming on to Mubarak Radio, and also all the very, very best in your campaign, and especially for the October 20th as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Jazakumullah khair. Brothers and sisters, you've been this has been an interview with Mr. Waqas Ali Khan, standing independent. Remember, 20th of October, I've just got a figure, 78,373 people. I don't know how many people are going to be voting, but make sure if you're listening to this, you got to get out there and start voting, and make sure you vote. It's like I say, it's your choice. Okay, you will have the names, you will have the parties you will be voting for, so make sure you vote, and hopefully the best person comes in to benefit our Batley Spen area as well. So anyway, we're going for a little break right now, brothers and sisters, so keep tuned, inshallah. Keep listening to Mubarak Radio. Jazakallah khair to everybody who's watched on Mubarak Radio, listening on the apps and the website. Please do follow us on all social media. Simply search Mubarak Radio. You'll find us absolutely everywhere. Keep listening, keep tuned, and inshallah, remember, at the end of the day, we are only travelers of this world, and our destination is the grave. You have been watching and listening to Mubarak Radio. Until the next time we all meet shortly, this is Mr. Mubarak signing out. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Fi amanillah.